Hello, everyone, and welcome to our presentation, where we explore mental health illness patterns using data visualization techniques to highlight causes and potential factors that may influence one's mental health. My name is Callum, and in our group is Ethan, George, and Huang. Our problem statement is identifying and understanding the causes of mental illness, such as depression, to enable better responses and early intervention, particularly in low income and underserved communities, which will in turn improve treatment outcomes and reduce healthcare costs. We wish for our information to reach individuals experiencing mental health issues so that they are aware of the causes and potential risks that cause these issues, as well as the government, healthcare workers, educational institutions, and employers, all of which play a vital role in treatment and prevention of mental health issues. The questions that we explored dive into some of the key causes and outline some of the relationships between different variables that can often cause mental health issues. They also explore how some lifestyle factors can influence one's mental health, which help to address our KPIs of improving the current treatment and solutions further. Our questions are as follows on the right side of the screen, and each will each of us will jump into our own questions and explain how we visualize them using our dataset to address the factors surrounding mental health issues. We prepared our data in ways that made it easier and better for visualization. For example, grouping by calculation using different types of charts, colors, and filters to make dashboards that are easily understood and altered to get an answer. We also created some calculated fields to assign Boolean values such as yes, no into numerical values so we can expand the possibilities of our visualization. We utilize some pre-tentative attributes and Gestalt principles to help draw attention to the data visualizations and create charts that are easily readable and understandable. I'm now going to get into some of the questions and dashboards we create. Question 1 is, how can educational institutions help the broader public recognize and prevent depression? My dashboard utilizes a range of different variables comparing education level to these factors. I chose the bubble graph in the top left to be the most emphasized graph of the dashboard as the simplest and most readable. This graph introduces the story of how education has an impact on one's health, demonstrating which of the different levels experiences the most mental health issues. By using colors, sizes, and filters, this dashboard is able to differentiate one or multiple educational levels and view them as needed. On the right, you can filter out by clicking on the appropriate education level and view them as needed. By comparing educational levels to known factors that influence mental health issues, such as employment rates in the bottom left and diet and physical activities on the right, we are able to understand how these factors might influence individuals' mental health compared to their education. As shown in the graph, individuals with master's degree or a higher education have less mental health issues compared to, say, a bachelor's degree, and it is reflective that they have a consistent employment rate as well as lifestyle habits. Hopefully, this dashboard sheds light into the importance of education and how educational institutes could see how they may be able to influence and teach about reducing mental health issues or put in measures to prevent mental illness. Question 2 is, how do sociocultural factors impact mental health? Similar to the previous dashboard, size, color, and filters are used for the ease of use and to distinguish the difference or impact of certain variables. The most emphasis is put onto family history's impact on mental health, as mental illness can be considered genetic and one of the main sociocultural factors for mental health issues. The other two graphs continue the story of the dashboard, showing the relationships between the number of children and sleep patterns in parents, as well as marital status and substance abuse. These graphs highlight that parents with more children have poorer sleep patterns, which can lead to more mental health issues, as highlighted by the orange and blue, representing no history of mental illness and a history of mental illness, respectively, which is also shown on the right side legend of the graphs. This can be linked to studies about postnatal depression, which is common in mothers post-birth. It also shows married individuals have the most history of mental illness, as shown by the size of the pie charts on the right, and also experience the most substance abuse. Substance abuse is a known factor influencing mental health, which is reflected in this graph. This dashboard ultimately addresses the problem statement as they visualize the socio-cultural factors and causes of mental illness and can allow stakeholders to take preventative measures or seek treatment based on this knowledge.
Hello everyone, my name is Jiazheng Wang. So today I'll be discussing two key questions related to identifying mental illness patterns based on lifestyle factors. First, we explore the question, how do lifestyle factors relate to likelihood of having a history of mental illness using data on smoking status, physical activity, alcohol consumption, and dietary habits. We created three charts to analyze these relationships. For example, a bar chart shows that current smokers are more likely to have a history of mental illness compared to former and non-smokers. We also observed that individuals with high alcohol consumption and unhealthy dietary habits have a significantly higher likelihood of mental illness. These insights highlight the importance of lifestyle choices in mental health, providing actionable information for health care and educational institutions to design the target interventions. Next, we examined how family history of depression correlates with demographic factors such as age, mental status, and education level. From the charts, we saw that younger individuals and those with lower education levels, particularly high school graduates, had a stronger correlation with a family history of depression. A pie chart also revealed that single and divorced individuals are more likely to report family history of depression compared to married or widowed individuals. These findings can guide mental health awareness campaigns, allowing institutions to focus on demographic groups at higher risk and provide support programming.
Dashboard 1 focuses on answering the question, how successful is mental health treatment, by analysing three key demographic factors: age, marital status, and education level, especially in relation to family history of depression. The first chart highlights that people in the age group of 55 to 70 are more likely to have a family history of depression, which may affect their treatment outcomes. The second chart looks at marital status, showing that married and widowed individuals have a higher likelihood of depression tied to family history, suggesting that they might benefit from targeted interventions. Lastly, the education level chart reveals that individuals with low levels of education are more likely to have a family history of depression, which could indicate a need for more accessible mental health resources for these groups. Altogether, this dashboard demonstrates that demographic factors can significantly impact treatment success. Dashboard 2 focuses on answering the question, how available are mental health interventions in the workplace? The first chart shows varying levels of access to mental health programs, with some workplaces providing a more robust support network than others. The second chart looks at participation rates, revealing that even when programs are available, participation can be relatively low, indicating the need for better promotion and engagement strategies within the workplace. The final chart explores the relationship between income levels and access to workplace mental health resources, highlighting that high income earning employees generally have better access to these programs than lower income earning employees. Overall, this dashboard underscores the disparities in both access and participation, suggesting that more needs to be done to improve mental health support, particularly for lower income earning workers.
Hi everyone, my name is Huang. The first question I explored for healthcare workers was, are older adults with chronic conditions more at risk of depression than younger people? If older adults with chronic conditions are at high risk, healthcare workers can focus on preventive care and targeted mental health support. The bar chart on the left side of my dashboard shows the overall depression rates by age group. We can see that depression rates generally increase in the older age groups. Next, on the top right, the stacked bar chart breaking down depression rates by both age group and chronic condition status. And we can see in the 51 to 70 age group, depression rates with chronic conditions are higher than those without. On the bottom, I use a line chart showing how depression risk changes with age for those with and without chronic conditions. We see that depression risk rises steadily with age, and this trend is more pronounced for those with chronic medical conditions, represented by the orange line. Moving on to the second question for employers. Are there specific job-related stresses that correlate with higher depression rates? Like the previous dashboard, on the top left, we have a bar chart that compares depression rates for employed versus unemployed individuals. We can see unemployed individuals have slightly lower depression rates than those employed, so joblessness may not be a factor in depression. In the bottom left, another bar chart showing depression rates by income level. It shows that lower income groups have a higher prevalence of depression than the higher income groups, which implies financial stress could be a job-related stressor. Lastly, the line chart on the right checking depression history across different ages, separated by alcohol consumption. By comparing trends across ages, we can identify that higher alcohol use correlates with higher depression rates among the 25 to 35 age group. These charts can provide insights for stakeholders like healthcare workers and employers. Both can implement strategies to reduce depression rates and improve overall well-being. Thank you for listening.